Hey there, guys. Welcome back for another episode of our weekly fantasy football podcast. Last week we had to do a little bit of renovation in the studio. Unfortunately, we couldn't put out an episode in time last week, but we're happy to hit you with our mid-season review special this week. We're going to talk about our teams, where we're at, and how we got there, how we feel in rest of the season. Obviously, we'll do a little injury report, some waiver wire talk, and then we're going to do a fun little segment where we're going to look at the top 12 drafted running backs and wide receivers in order and see how that stacks up versus reality. So what we thought was going to be the top 12 versus what's actually the top 12. You guys ready to go today?
What the general public thought would be the top 12, I guess.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, I had the current top 12 as the top 12 at the start of the year because I'm never wrong. But yeah, we'll see what the general public thought.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, good pick.
Yeah, well, he's on there. We'll get to that.
1-8, Tom?
Something like that. Yeah. Okay, so who wants to start with how their team is doing? I guess I will because I just got tossed out there with how my team's doing. It's not my year for anyone listening. I am currently 1-8. I have one nice win over the guy who's in 11th place in our league, and I'm sitting in 12th. I'm out of playoff contention. I'm in last place contention. I've just been absolutely devastated by injuries this year. I lost Saquon Barkley in week 2. I traded for a quarterback to get some more points on the board. That quarterback was Dak Prescott. He is out for the season. I lost Julian Edelman at some point. I know that's not as significant as the other ones, but I've just had to trade away all my good players to try to get people to fill holes, and it's just not worked out for me. Jamie, how about you? How are you looking this season?
Currently 7-2. Yeah, 7-2. Made a lot of moves early. Ended up drafting 4 running backs in only a single flex league with 2 running backs. So I traded one early. That was Jonathan Taylor for Cortland Sutton, who obviously died super early, so that sucked for me. Obviously, everyone knows by now that my second and third round pick were Fournette and Bell, and neither of which have really panned out either. First round pick McCaffrey came back for 1 week and is now hurt yet again. And
hey, who did he play that 1 week?
Oh,
who did you play that 1 week that Saquon was? McCaffrey was back.
He took time out back and old yellered him real quick.
I can't believe that Christian McCaffrey came back for literally 1 game to kill me. But anyway.
So yeah, I didn't actually have much value out of my first 5 draft picks, but still managed to squeak ahead. I'm 7-2 now. Took some chances on a lot of. I do this thing with my bench where at the beginning it's kind of a revolving door. I keep rookies and people I think will blow up or have potential, I guess I should say, because all you need is one to hit. And at this point, I'm running with Justin Herbert. Brandon Cooks is having a hell of a season. I'm keeping him in right now. Obviously, a young star, Chase Claypool, was acquired in a trade, so I like to gamble on him. He's definitely a good gamble target. I have a brand new gamble target that I'll talk about in the waiver edition section, but yeah, we're doing all right now for sure.
We'll get to that in the waiver section. Alex, how's your team looking?
Team's okay. I'm sitting at 6-3, so pretty good. Team is not very deep, and my running backs are terrible, but that is just a common theme of fantasy for this year. Is backs are just tough to find good ones. So my quarterback, Kyler Murray, has been carrying me, and my receivers, which are A.J. Brown and Galladay when he's not hurt, which is half the time, and even Christian Kirk now, who's emerging as one of his favorite targets.
Sure is.
So I'm big in on the Cardinals offense for this year. And,
I guess so. Yeah,
it's been working out okay.
It's not a bad offense to be.
I don't
with.
think I have a championship team though, so
I'm
hoping I make the playoffs, but we'll see how far I go.
Hey, me either. I don't have a championship team this year either, guys. But there's a reason for that, and the reason for that, for me at least, is injuries, not poor management at all. It's all been injuries. And speaking of injuries, there were a good amount in Week 9. Christian McCaffrey came back for 1 week, and now he is looking like he's not going to play next week with a shoulder injury. So if you had Mike Davis, if you're still hanging on to him, that's a good guy to have, because we all know how good Mike Davis has been this year. Also out with concussions last week, David Montgomery and David Johnson. We'll have to keep an eye on practice reports, see how they're trending, but you might want to have Duke Johnson fired up and ready to go in place of David, and I believe his name is Nall in Chicago, the backup for David Montgomery.
Right.
Because obviously
He
Tariq Cohen
technically
is
throw
out.
Patterson out there too.
Could
Who
throw
knows?
Patterson out there. Oh, are we ready for the Patterson RB like top
God
24 running
no.
back week? No,
I am not. No, I'm just saying. I don't know what Matt Nagy's gonna do.
they're gonna have to do something. Justin Jackson also out with a knee injury, and we saw Kalen Ballage come through for the Chargers last week. Justin Jackson played like one snap, got hit in the knee, and did not return to the game. He was seen on the sideline trying to work through it, warm it up, and get back out there. So maybe he'll be back next week. But for now,
They've said he's not gonna practice. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on there. And for receivers, we saw Kenny Galladay out for week 9, and it's looking like he's probably going to be out next week as well with that hip injury. Calvin
Oof.
Ridley, still working through an ankle injury, might be back at practice this week. And Mike Williams, I couldn't tell you what he went down with in that Chargers game. I didn't actually see the exact hit, but he was not getting up off the ground, so he might be out as well this week. In good news, though, Nick Chubb back at practice for the Cleveland Browns. And moving on to quarterbacks, in bad news, well, maybe not fantasy football bad news, Kyle Allen is out for the season with another one of those classic Washington football quarterback injuries where their leg goes the wrong way.
So pick up
it's-
Alex Smith.
I don't know about pick up Alex Smith, but definitely keep an eye on the
Protect
value of the
Alex
players
Smith.
there. Yeah, protect him at all costs, please. That man's a walking miracle. J.D. McKissick saw a huge boost when Alex Smith came in, so clearly he's a liked guy there. Jamie, as the resident Antonio Gibson guy, what are your thoughts on Alex Smith coming in now?
As an Alex Smith fan, of course, they're huge. I love him. I love to see him succeed. I want to see him succeed. However, I believe Gibson had 2 targets and McKissick had 9. And obviously, as someone who plays in a full PPR format and is the Gibson owner, that's worrying because, I mean, well,
You
that's
need targets.
less points than my guy, yeah. And,
Oh, yeah.
Gibson did salvage his week last week. He ended up with like 12 or something, but he had a rushing touchdown. So, Gibson owners might be in trouble as far as Alex Smith coming out as QB there goes. But who knows? Like maybe this entire week, now that he's actually going to be the starter, maybe they're like, all right, this is the RB1, and they work with him. But maybe they just stay with what they got, and McKissick's the guy now, and Jamie's screwed. We'll see.
Oh, only one way to find out. And coming back off of all those injuries, though, you have some waiver wire picks for us, I believe, Jamie. Yeah?
Oh yeah, I sure do.
Got to fill those empty spots on your roster.
We like those waiver sections. Wrote down 2 wide receivers here. So, Larry Fitzgerald is rostered in 10% of leagues. I know
Calling for Larry Legend.
Larry Legend. He
Oh,
has
man.
done nothing special. However, a lot of times on a waiver pickup, you don't need something special. You need consistency. And I think he's on like 3 weeks in a row or so of like 10 points, which, again, as far as a waiver pickup plug and play guy goes, that's perfect. It's kind of what
Alex,
you're looking for.
you're our Cardinals expert. What do you think about Larry Fitzgerald on that offense?
I mean, he's gonna catch like the ball. It's just like that's how much it's gonna be thrown to him. He might put up like 9 points, but he's not gonna be a big
Right.
pop off guy, and he's not
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
be
he won't
probably a
pop off.
touchdown guy. So yeah, but like still a good pickup if you need one.
All right, Jamie, who else you got for us? Who do you believe in?
Returning this week should be 58% rostered wide receiver Deebo Samuel. Granted, that team is kind of bad now. However, Deebo Samuel is a very good player, and I think he's worth a spot for sure. He's
Yeah,
had a
I
couple,
would agree.
He's had, I think he's had 2 20-point performances this year, so not having a team hasn't hurt him that bad, despite the fact that more and more people are going down. But that means, less targets for Kittle, for example.
There's going to be no targets for Kittle going forward this season, I think.
I would argue 0.
Yeah.
So Deebo Samuel certainly worth rostering, 58%.
Hmm.
Alex, do you want to go with your waiver pick?
So I have a few.
Okay.
One is Tua, actually, for like a quarterback. Maybe not for the whole season, but he's playing the Patriots, and I think they're the worst defense now in football. They're not, but they're pretty close. So he's going to put up big stats there. And on the other side of that is Myers for the Pats.
Oh yeah.
You saw him last week, and
Yeah, get
he's
that
only
guy.
rostered, I think, in 10% of leagues because, I mean, he's like a nobody. But clearly Cam is a fan. So those would be my 2 picks.
Sure, those are
I
good.
really like the Tua one actually. We didn't see much of him in his first start versus the Rams because that was mostly just the Miami defense scoring touchdown after touchdown with Jared Goff handing them the ball over and over again. But I mean, in his second game versus the Cardinals, I thought he looked fantastic. Like he looked great. It was everything I wanted out of a fantasy quarterback. There was rushing, there was passing. It was good. It wasn't like pick city or turnover city. I loved it. I loved what I saw out of him, and I hope I get to see more of it.
For sure. As far as Pat's
Oh,
go-
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
sorry too. I don't know why I had the Patriots on my mind. Still pick up Tua, but they're not playing
They're playing the
the
Chargers,
Patriots.
right?
They're playing the Broncos,
Oh, Broncos.
which are still a bad team.
Oh, that's not a
but-
great team either. Yeah.
Right, it's still a bad defensive team, but not as bad as the Patriots. But I misspoke there.
It's okay. It happens to all of
It's
us.
all good. It's all good. You were bringing up some Pats receivers. I really like. I know I've talked about it before with you guys. I'm not sure about if I've said it on the show. I like Isaiah Ford, that guy they acquired from Miami. I don't know if he'll be fantasy relevant whatsoever, but just a aside there.
Hmm.
As far as some.
Oh man, I can't get Miami right. I looked it up again. The Chargers. You were right, Jamie.
Let's go.
It's the Chargers.
Okay.
It's all good.
Don't
Anyway.
come to me with your news on Miami.
Yeah.
Really,
Okay.
I don't know
Local
anything.
Miami anti-expert.
Yeah.
What's
The
the opposite
Broncos
of
are the week
expert?
after.
Miami idiot.
What? Yeah. What is that? The opposite of expert?
Probably. That's what I would
Oh,
say.
man.
What would you say is opposite of expert?
Me.
Novice.
Alex and novice and idiot. That's what we got.
For some RBs, speaking of Miami, it's funny that we're talking about them a lot here. I wanted to bring up the fact that Jordan Howard is rostered in 27% of leagues, and while
Now
he may not be the spiciest pickup because he's incredibly touchdown dependent, and he's just a big body that'll plow through guys at the 1 yard line. They have a rookie named Salvin Ahmed.
Yeah, I saw you picked him up right before the show started. You wanted to make sure you got that before we heard about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. He averaged over 5 yards. He had 7 carries. He was obviously the more explosive of the running backs. So Jordan Howard led him in touches last week. I do not see it happening this week. I bet you Ahmed takes over. They did, however, just trade for Washington from the Chiefs and elevated him. I'm not entirely... I doubt he gets any fantasy relevant amount of touches, so whatever, but it's worth mentioning that there might be some other random guy cutting into their load.
Yeah, that's definitely worth keeping an eye on that situation there in Miami. Gaskin is
Only
still
till
going to be out
Gaskin comes
for
back,
a few
yeah.
weeks. Yeah, I would say once Gaskin's back, all of these Miami players that we've mentioned, you can just throw them away. They're gone. But
Including
Yeah.
Tua.
no, I think we can keep Tua. I don't think Gaskin's going to cut into Tua too much. About the Patriots, though, it's worth mentioning that you said Jacoby Myers. That's because N'Keal Harry, obviously, and Julian Edelman are out. I
Right.
think that Myers might be worth hanging on to even when and if those two players come back, because I assume N'Keal Harry is going to be coming back. I don't know the same about Edelman. Like, is his maybe a season ender? But I like Myers going forward a lot, actually. I think he's going to be a pretty good guy in that offense. He might be the wide receiver one. We might have found the wide receiver one on New England in week 9.
Right now, yeah, I would say.
Mm.
But if they, so if Edelman comes back, who knows? But
Is Harris
as of
good?
now,
Oh
Is
yeah,
who?
Harris was injured as well
Injury-wise,
in that
he
game.
played
He had a
very
chest
well.
injury at
Is
the
he
end
injured,
there.
though? Do we know?
Yeah, he did go down with a chest injury at the end of that game. So we might be looking at a week of Rex Burkhead or maybe some James White,
Right.
maybe Sony Michel if he's back.
I'll go back to that old stack.
Damian Harris. Let's see what the injury report says.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Definitely hurt.
It looked.
I would
tough.
Yeah,
say-
I don't think he'll be playing.
That's a
at
shame
least
because
this
he was
week.
actually looking like, a literal RB1 for New England.
I'd be looking to fire up the Burkhead this week if I was going to go with one of those guys, but I'd
There'll be a
rather
lot of
too.
Burkhead now. If
Yeah.
he's out.
I'd rather just go with I'd rather have just gone with Harris going forward, but that's probably not going to be an option next week.
Right. For sure, for sure.
Worth noting as well, not in actual injury news, but in COVID news, if you have any players on the Steelers, keep an eye on them because apparently Vance McDonald tested positive for COVID on a test that was like right before the game or something. I don't know, but he was on the team playing with them. He tested positive, and now everyone on that plane, on the Steelers plane, could potentially have COVID, including Big Ben, who sat right next to him.
I thought
on
he
the plane.
did have COVID, or maybe
Big
I
Ben's
just
on
heard
the
that he
list.
might have.
Big Ben's on the list because he
Oh,
sat
don't know
next to
if he
Vance
has
on the
it.
plane.
List of quarantine people.
Yeah, we don't know if he has
he's
it,
just on
but
the
he's on the
quarantine list. Yeah, but hey, I guess I might be looking for another quarterback there.
Yeah.
Again.
Go pick up Tua.
It's too late. It's
Too
too
late?
late. Yeah, too late. Yeah, Tua's already been picked up in our league.
right.
Unfortunately, someone
So
got
it's
the
Alex
advanced
Smith then.
screening of the podcast, and they got all my waiver picks in before me. Yeah.
Let's see what you got for QB in our league. You could always go Burrow.
Who's available? Ooh, yeah, I could pick up Burrow. Who's he facing?
Alex
He's
Smith.
facing
Pittsburgh.
the Steelers this week, though.
You got Burrow, you got Stafford,
The Steelers, the
Rivers,
COVID
you got
Steelers?
Smooth SpongeBob round 2, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr.
Oh man, those Carr sounds like the best one of those options. Maybe Stafford.
Carr's against Denver.
Yeah, that's not too bad though.
Who is who are the Giants playing?
The Giants are gonna play the Eagles.
That's
Ooh,
not
That's
like
not
bad
bad.
then for a pickup.
I
Yeah.
could throw Wentz in there and just like not look at it while it's happening, but
Or Daniel Jones.
They're projected.
I don't-
Alex Smith's only rostered in 4% of leagues. Disrespectful.
I wonder why. Yeah, I think
It's
I'm gonna
like
have
two
to
quarterback
pass.
leagues
I'm
probably.
gonna have to pass on Daniel Jones there because
Danny
he just
Dimes?
feels he feels like
Wow.
Jameis Winston except not as good.
Without the good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he feels like only
James
the
Winston's
turnovers.
eating those W's still.
He did. He
Yeah.
got his
He saw him
revenge
to
dub.
say- I
Hey,
didn't
he got
share.
to play. He got to play.
You know,
I
that's
know.
honestly that's a game that I think we should talk about because I have recently acquired Mr. Big Chest on my team, and what do we make of this Tampa Bay team now that came out for a classic, instant classic Sunday Night Football matchup? Saints versus Buccaneers. Tom Brady, Drew Brees. I'm talking like this is gonna be just the great football game. Two expert veteran quarterbacks with great teams around them. And what was the final? 38-3.
38-3, yeah.
Yeah. Just an awful football game that was over in about 15-20 minutes. Alex, what do you think about the Bucs right now?
I
looking
wouldn't
at that game?
overreact yet because I still think the Bucks are a very strong team. I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl team now, which I did think so though, like a week ago, because that line looked bad, that defense though, looked bad, and there are mistakes, and of course Brady looked terrible too.
Mhm.
But it's just 1 week, and they've been playing well for the majority of the year, and I still think they're still one of the teams to beat in the NFC. But come playoff time, they'll have to beat the Saints, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that now. They got crushed twice by them. So
Jamie,
we'll see.
what about you? Any thoughts on this Buccaneers Saints game?
I, for the most part, agree. Brady especially looked really bad, but his mistakes were incredibly uncharacteristic. So I'd say don't overreact or panic. I remember a few end zone attempts they had were just ugly. He's trying to shoot for, Gronk and missing by a hair. He's throwing an AB in triple coverage. They're very uncharacteristic mistakes that I don't see him continuing to make, especially because they have I think their record's 5-3, or correct me if I'm wrong, something around there, which is not a bad record. So I think they'll get it together for sure.
Yeah, I want to touch on
because their D was uncharacteristically bad as well.
that too. I want to definitely touch on the Brady looking not so good, and you mentioned throwing to Antonio Brown in triple coverage.
Yeah.
Those two did not look like they were on the same page, and it looked like Brady wanted them on the same page, and he was just trying to get Antonio Brown the
He's
ball.
trying to force it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
think we
also,
all assumed that he was going to be just throwing that ball to Antonio Brown because we know Brady loves this guy. He's had him living in his house in 2 different locations now. But it just looked like they needed more time to work on getting back together with it on the
They've
field.
got time.
Well, I don't know if it was his first pick or second pick, but he thought AB was going just down the field, but AB
He hooked.
curled out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
he just missed him by a mile. It was
Yeah.
the easiest pick.
I remember
the
I saw
Saints
that
guys.
one. AB was turned around looking at the ball, and he saw it going like way over his head. He's like, "Oh, I'm probably supposed to be over there." Aren't
Yeah,
I?
I don't know whose fault, but they just weren't on the same
Yeah,
page.
no, it
and
was
maybe a
definitely
week of
not.
practice and stuff. But I still think it looks good for AB in fantasy because Brady wants to throw him that ball. So with more time in
yeah.
practice, I think he will be the top guy on that
I think
Buccaneers team.
I
I
think
agree.
you guys are looking at the potential champion of the losers bracket right here with this guy
No.
right here. No, you don't think
Champion
I'm gonna
of
win the losers bracket?
No.
I don't know,
Absolutely.
man.
Hey, that 7th place seed is coveted. Okay.
Kirk might be in the losers bracket. He's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of teams that are gonna
The
be in
Henry
there.
train's coming for you. Even though
Yeah,
they
he's
scored, I
gonna
think,
run me
7
over.
points for last week, but yeah.
It happens. All right. Well, speaking of the Henry train, let's jump into that little mid-season review of the running backs and receivers. We're going to talk about the top tier players, who we thought was going to be the top tier, who the public thought was going to be the top tier, I should say, not me, because I knew all of this because I'm smart. And I don't know about you guys if you guys had this
1-8.
exact. Yeah. Hey, look. I'm sharing my knowledge with the people. I'm giving it to all of you. I
thank
can't
you, Tom.
benefit from it if you all have it. Yeah.
You're like Jesus, man. You
Yeah,
sacrificed so that we
sacrificing
could grow
myself
strong
so
or
that you
whatever.
guys can be better at fantasy football.
Martyr.
Truly brave.
Stunning. So,
Anyways,
all right, let's jump into it. This is the top 12 running backs that were drafted according to, the world of fantasy football.
Strictly
This is the
according
order
to
that they
ADP.
went in. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey at number 1. Saquon Barkley, number 2. Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, and coming in at number 12 to round off that top 12 is Miles Sanders.
okay.
How many of those players are in the actual top 12 for running backs, you guys?
Oh man.
Not McCaffrey, not Barkley, not Zeke.
Correct and
Zeke,
correct.
Zeke probably still is. Mixon is not.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde probably isn't. Jacobs probably isn't.
Alex, any shots you want to
I
take
don't
there?
have like a list.
Me either.
But I would say
I do,
Jones
don't worry.
is probably out too because he's been hurt for I think more than half the
Right.
season. So Dalvin, Henry, Kamara, they're all in.
Obviously,
they're
yep.
definitely 1, 2, and 3. Kamara, Dalvin.
Right.
That's correct. That is
you're
1,
right,
2,
is
3.
Probably not in, but like maybe because there's not that many good backs now. Like I'm having a hard time thinking of who the top 12 backs are.
All right. Well, I'll read you guys off the top 12 backs, and you can react to that. So top 3, Jamie, Alex, you guys are right. It's Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry in that order. I think that Cook is probably going to pass Kamara at some point coming up soon. He looks amazing lately. But that's the top 3. Then at number 4, we get our first surprise. James Robinson is RB4 on the
Right.
season.
Hey,
Well, it's a surprise.
go episode 3. I said I'll finish
Yeah.
the season at 5.
Hey, where was James Robinson drafted?
He wasn't.
It's undrafted.
Yeah, no, he was a
in almost
free
all
agent,
leagues.
Must
waiver
have been
wire in like
after,
I think almost every single
well,
league. Yeah,
Must have
Well,
been after
'cause-
Jamie picked up Chris Thompson, right?
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, well, after a
Sorry about that one.
Fournette, we had no idea what the plan was
Right.
in Jacksonville.
Oh,
Um,
hey, apparently they made the right decision.
Apparently, he looks awesome.
He's a
So
beast.
he's going to be
Yeah.
their back for a while.
Hanging on at number 5 is Ezekiel Elliott. He's
which
looking
is-
like that's.
his first
And
6
what
weeks were like
does
25,
what does he average
I'll check it if you want.
per week?
Okay, yeah, Jamie, you want to pull that up?
Because it can't be that high.
Yeah, it's
Well, his
probably
fir-
not
his
going to
first,
stay
like,
that high.
6 weeks were like in the 20s though.
Oh yeah.
It's not staying that way with the current Cowboys offense, though. Not since Dak
Of
left.
course. Average is 16.3.
Okay,
And he's our number what?
number 5 on the season right now.
Right. So
Do you
that's
think he's gonna
that's not under
stay-
high 5?
You think he's going to stay in the top 10, or you think he's on? You think he's out?
Let me hear the rest of this top 10 first, and then I'll
Last
let you
4
know.
weeks have been so questionable that. I
Oh
wanna
yeah,
start
they have.
trending down
Okay,
now.
yeah. I'll run down the rest of this list here.
Sure.
At number 6 is unfortunately for my early season prediction, Todd Gurley is currently sitting at number 6 because he just keeps falling into the end zone. He doesn't look good when he plays. Like, it doesn't look
Yes,
great.
he does. He's
Stumbles
the king.
forward a couple of yards, and it just happens to be the end zone every single time. And
true running back.
it keeps working for him. All right. after Todd Gurley is Mike Davis.
Makes sense.
Then at number 8, Aaron Jones. At number 9, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. At number 10, Josh Jacobs hanging in there. And then at number 11 and 12, we have Kareem Hunt and James Conner.
Oh yeah, Chubb's out, by the way. If the
Yeah.
whole being on
Chubb.
IR for 5 weeks prediction needed to come out.
Yeah,
But-
that'll do that. That will do that.
Well, it's so weird to hear that these are the RB1s, right? So these are the top
Yep.
12.
This
These
is-
are
Dude, they're the
yeah,
RB1s?
These are the ideals RB1s, and the last guy probably averages a 13 points a game.
They're the
So,
RB1s from 2018, dude.
It's
James
just
Conner and
such-
Kareem Hunt.
It's just such a bad year for backs.
It's been rough.
So I do think Zeke will stay in the top 10 now because
You think he's in? You don't
yeah,
think he's going to get surpassed?
because other guys are going to be out too. I don't know if Clyde will stay. He probably won't. All these other guys, it's just they're just James Conner is hot and cold. Who knows?
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of James Conner versus Dallas last week. That was a little bit worrying.
Yeah, you just really don't know what's going on. Then also these guys, a lot of them are hurt, or they're gonna get hurt, or they are hurt or coming back. So we don't know.
It's
Who's
such a
playing
brutal
that
position
much.
to play.
Like, Jones is in your top 10 or your top. I think it was the top
he
10.
was 10 or something.
spot.
Yeah, he was
And
drafted at
he's
number
only
11,
played,
and he's at number
half
8.
the season, if that.
Yeah.
He's missed,
So-
He's
I
been
want to
a
say,
baller.
2-3 games.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
he had a few 40-point weeks, but
that does happen time to time.
man,
At
the
least
backs suck.
At least episode 1, Tom, when we ranked those 7 RBs, I think we unanimously agreed that Connor would be the top one of the 7. And
Oh yeah,
he is.
definitely. Yeah, well, we were right. Good job,
Yeah.
us. See, look at that. We're smart. We know a little bit about what we're talking about. Even me at 1-8 here. I'm just not translating it well. So who's the biggest surprise of that list to you for you guys? Again, that was Kamara, Cook, Henry, Robinson. Elliott, Gurley, Mike Davis, Aaron Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jacobs, Hunt, and Connor. What's the most surprising name to hear though in top 12 running back land?
Robinson from the beginning of the year. But
Okay.
Yeah,
I
would.
wasn't,
yeah, I
he
feel like
wasn't
that's an
even
easy-
he wasn't even a handcuff.
I'm gonna say Hunt
Yeah.
because he wasn't gonna be the top guy after
Right.
that team too, especially after Chubb had a monster year last
Mhm.
yeare. But of course, people are being hurt. We could say that about half those people that that are there because
Right.
players have been hurt. If you said that Todd Gurley would be a top guy too, I'd be I don't know.
So who's out of this at the end of the year? You guys think who's one of these top 12 running backs that's going to be out by the end of the year?
Give me the last 5 again.
Jacobs and Clyde.
Jacobs and Clyde, you'd say? Yeah, we've got at the bottom 5 is Jones, Clyde, Jacobs, Hunt, and Connor. Don't forget though, you got Mike Davis and Todd Gurley, who is going to be out of the top 24
Mike
if my
Davis
prediction
will
be
be,
correct. You'll
but-
see it. It'll happen, guys. I mean it.
Yeah, there's no way. Clyde is staying there.
So we're
At the
thinking-
9th spot.
Like
We're
Davis
thinking
is gonna
Clyde's
go.
out. Mike
Clyde's
Davis
out,
too.
But that's not even a
I don't know.
take. That's just a fact.
I
if
think
McCaffrey comes back.
Zeke falls too, but he'll stay in there.
Yeah, it's. I remember I was looking up some stats that were pretty silly today with Christian McCaffrey, just because every time he plays, he puts up 40 points. There are 2 high drafted, well, not one high drafted, but 2 starting running backs that he was ahead of in total fantasy points this season, and that was Derrick Henry.
Nope.
Oh my God, not
The
Derrick
what?
Henry. Devin Singletary. God, yeah, he does not have more than him.
He's not even a starter though, really, man. That seems
Yeah.
weird. He starts, but
Yeah. And who was the other one? It was Kenyon Drake. He has more points on the season than Kenyon Drake and Devin Singletary.
yeah. Well, Kenyon Drake hasn't played in 2 weeks, and he's probably not. He might play this week, but also he's
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should mention that because Christian McCaffrey has played in 2 weeks exactly total.
I know.
3.
3.
Well,
yeah, sorry,
Drake's
3.
been awful too, but that offense
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to run the ball up with their backs though. We look at Chase
They
Edmonds,
actually
who we thought was gonna
do.
pop off, and he had a bad week too.
Dude,
And
they
then
gave
Kyler
him,
Murray ran for 3 million yards, so he's their running back.
They
Kyler
gave
Murray
him
is
the
the
Kenyon
answer
Kenyon
to
Drake
that
treatment,
question.
though. They did this thing where they gave Edmonds the Kenyon Drake treatment because he was now the RB1. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw his stats. It was 14 rushes for 35. I'm like, that's what
I know.
Drake's doing.
That's just what their offense is
Yeah,
doing right now.
I guess that's
don't know
nuts.
what's going on. They don't like to run the ball.
Like
there.
I know I was lobbying for Kenyon Drake to get out of his team last year and go somewhere that I'll use him, but I'm doing it again. Let my man play.
Yeah. Kyler Murray
Give him
looks
back
like
to Adam Gase. At least Adam Gase likes him a little bit.
Oh, don't do that. Don't give any
I
players
think
to
he's
Adam
fine
Gase.
on that team.
Don't wish that on anyone.
He's probably happy. His team is very good.
Right.
Yeah.
It just
All right.
sucks because I like the guy and he's talented.
All right, let's hear the receivers, Tom.
Okay, so here are the we actually have two
I should write this
correct
down.
we have two correct calls on
I
wide
guess
receivers.
Maybe I should write two so I don't have to keep asking Tom to repeat them.
Okay, yeah. For the wide receivers, number 1 overall, if you guys didn't know, it was Michael Thomas at average draft.
Of course.
Yeah.
Two
Number 2
Devontae?
is Devontae Adams. Number 3.
This is what? This is ADP or is this? Yeah.
This is ADP. Yeah, this is the
Okay.
the average draft. So in a perfect world, these are the players that would have been
Sure.
the top 12 wide receivers.
Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill at number 3. Julio Jones at number 4. DeAndre Hopkins,
Yo.
yep, at number 5. How'd you know? Chris Godwin was number 6. Kenny Galladay was number 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that's not the truth right now. Number 8 was Mike Evans. Number 9 was Adam Thielen. Number 10 was OBJ.
Ooh.
Number 11 was Amari Cooper. And then coming in, rounding out that top 12 is Calvin Ridley.
All right.
Now this list, it does have 2 that were actually correct, as opposed to the running back list, which doesn't have any correct. But the running backs, at least
Like in
most
their
of those,
spots?
yeah,
Correct,
exactly
okay.
lined up. But most of those running backs, at least that were drafted as top 12, ended up as top 12. Obviously, Barkley and McCaffrey are not because they haven't played any time. But Elliott's in there, Cook, Henry, Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones are all in there. So those were at least like mostly accurate to who was gonna be top 12. Maybe just exact positioning was a little off. The wide receiver position is a bit more jumbled. There's a couple names in here that were not drafted as top 12. Like there's some people. There's one in particular that's really, really out there. But let's get into that. So number 1 wide receiver overall on the year is actually Tyreek Hill,
True.
sitting at number 1 right now, who has been surprisingly consistent throughout the year. Up until this point, it has been a lot less of the boom
Tom?
bust games. Yeah.
I know this might come off next probably, but Metcalf, where was he picked in the ADP at the start?
Oh, we're getting there.
Ooh.
I do not actually have that, but you know what? I can pull it up for
Because
you.
I'm curious. I bet
I
he's
have
coming
the
up like
page
a
up.
next or the call after that.
Oh, he's
but,
close.
His
The second one.
ADP was 43.
Oh,
Serious?
43rd?
Oh, wow.
All right,
Okay.
well, they were about 40 calls off. The second one on the list is actually Devontae Adams, even though he missed, what was it, the first 5 games of the season? He's
Yeah, he's
already
got a stud.
the wide receiver 2 in terms of the amount of points that he scored. And yeah, sitting at number 3 is DK Metcalf, 40 wide receiver spots above where he was drafted.
Yeah, dude's a
He's-
beast.
He's been pretty outrageous. He's
Oh,
been
I'm
an
sorry.
absolute
Not wide
revelation.
receiver slots. He was his ADP
Oh, you were talking
was
43rd
43. He was
overall?
wide receiver 17. My bad.
Okay, so wide receiver 17. Still, big
Still
upgrade.
super outperforming.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hey, we might want to check back at who's wide receiver 43 because we're coming up on another one here in a minute. I think you might know who it is, but
Yeah.
we have Stephon Diggs at number 4, who was not in the top 10 there, or top 12 there.
What a pick for anyone who has that.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs has really, really paid off if you picked him. Tyler Lockett as well, going around the same area at number 5, coming in there.
That one 60-point week.
Yeah, and then there was the 45 like 2 weeks before
he's
that.
had great.
That was
games.
very strange. Yeah, he had those I want to say it was 45 and then just 2 stinker weeks of 3 points, 5 points, and then 60 points the next week after that. That was a crazy game to watch. He was in every single play.
Right.
Then we have DeAndre Hopkins at number 6, who's only 1 spot behind where he was projected to be. So I'd say you're pretty happy with
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins
I'd
if you
say
picked him.
to be reasonable, you have to expect your players to be, let's say, plus or minus 5 in the direction of.
Yeah, no, it's very reasonable. I'd
Well,
say that.
it's not like the backs, right? Where
Yeah.
if they drop down, it's going from 20 points to
Right.
13, 12. These are all guys like that are popping off because these are like fantasy scorers.
Everyone's
It's
Oh, yeah.
the year of
going up,
receivers. It's not
Mhm.
like the year of backs. So
Yeah.
all of these guys are like very good still.
Definitely. This is where the list for wide receivers starts to get a little bit messier, though. There's one more player on that list who's actually on the top 12 for the current season so far. Oh no, two. Sorry, there's two. Keenan Allen comes in at number 7, though, who was left a little bit down there. ADP was
Yeah.
probably affected by the Tyrod Taylor situation. We thought there was going to be a lot less volume through the air for that offense, but Justin Herbert is coming and really turning that around. Keenan Allen is looking fantastic.
Well, even
Right.
last year he finished off terrible. Now I don't. That could have been the fault of Phillip, but but Herbert is
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton says it's definitely Philip Rivers' fault.
yeah
Oh, poor
is
T.Y.
like that guy's been amazing for that team, especially in fantasy wise.
That's
So
my king.
Right. Calvin Ridley, up a little higher than we thought he would be. Up higher than Julio Jones as
Julio.
well. Julio Jones actually is not going to make this top 12 current list for the season.
Ooh.
He has missed a bit of time, though, but
He
so
has.
is Ridley. All right, so after that, we have Allen Robinson at number 9. And here's the probably the big shocker coming into wide receivers. The number 10 halfway through the season, the number 10 highest scoring fantasy wide receiver. Jamie, you want to pull up Robbie Anderson's ADP?
Ooh, yeah. Sheesh.
You want to pull up where he was drafted? I remember he went in, I think, the 12th round in our league, something like that.
One second, I gotta
yeah, it
click
was like
load
a
more.
joke too.
Yeah, keep scrolling there. It might take you a second
Wide
to
receiver
find him.
59.
59, huh? Well,
ADP 159.
Well, he's a top 10 wide receiver, Robbie Anderson. So if you picked up Robbie Anderson, like, congratulations. That's a league winner right there, that kind of player. Where you
Yeah,
just pick him as a
sheesh.
flyer so late in the draft. You're like, let's see if this guy sticks. And
Or
he
like
does.
a waiver guy.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
few of the first weeks.
Yeah, hey,
Sheesh.
James Robinson, RB4. But yeah, Robbie Anderson, I don't think any of us saw that coming after, what was it, a few years on the Jets of the very occasional touchdown kind of week.
I was actually reading on this situation last night, just because you know how much I have, for some reason, am invested in the Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore situation.
Yeah.
And they've basically switched roles. Robbie Anderson was the deep threat on the Jets, and that's all he ever was, and that's all that everyone planned for him to be. And now he switched with DJ Moore. DJ Moore runs straight down the field. Robbie Anderson runs the 10, 11-yard button hook routes and just gets all the receptions. He'll end so many games with 10 for 100 or something.
And then Curtis Samuel comes in and just takes everything instead.
Right. And then Curtis Samuel gets a rushing touchdown for some reason.
Yeah. It's a strange setup there. Then at number 11 on this list, we have Amari Cooper, correctly projected. He's definitely going to stay there. Don't worry about that Cowboys offense. Everything is afloat, right, guys?
Everything's fine.
Yeah. All smiles in Dallas.
This is fine. Dog with the mug.
I get the mug out. This is fine. Yeah, I think it's
in case
safe
that
to
wasn't
say.
obvious, I don't think he'll stay there.
No, none of us do. Yeah, safe to say Amari Cooper probably on his way out of this top 12.
Probably, unfortunately, for Amari.
Yeah, unlucky if you drafted him. But
Definitely.
yeah, no, this
He's
Dallas
gonna drop
offense is not.
very far.
Yeah. And sneaking into the number 12 spot is my wide receiver, Terry McLaurin.
I thought
He snuck right in the.
I thought he'd be 10, but yeah.
Yeah, he's sneaking into that 12th spot right there. So there's a lot of these receivers were drafted fairly high, Jamie, like you said, with that give or take like 5 positions or so.
Yeah.
Like Thielen is just outside the top 12, I should say, and Allen Robinson was drafted just outside that position there.
Right.
Well,
But
Keenan Allen as well,
Like,
but-
Thielen is
Diggs
still
and,
a
like,
big
Lockett.
surprise not being
Diggs
there.
looking like a steal, Lockett looking like a
Mhm.
steal, Allen, Ridley. You know what? The whole list looks like a steal, to be honest. Yeah, not
But
much.
like, there's still guys that were still picked up pretty high. Like Allen was still that top guy for the team.
Yeah.
But like, we weren't sure if it'd be a Mitch or if it'd be a Nick Foles or how like he'd be used.
Does
Well,
that?
Mitch
Robinson.
did
I was
not
talking
like
about
to throw
Keenan, but
the
yeah,
ball.
that guy too.
Oh, I thought you
So-
were talking about Robinson.
No, my bad.
Oh no, Keenan Allen.
One's a first name Allen, one's a last name Allen. But yeah, same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Gotta watch that Allen connection there.
It's the same thing. We didn't really know what was
I mean,
going on
we're
with the quarterback.
we're on a
and-
first name basis. So,
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. So since you're on a first name basis with the Bears there, Alex, I want to talk to you a little bit about Allen Robinson's situation.
Sure.
Did it matter? Did
No.
Mitch or Nick
Sorry,
Foles
I'm not
matter?
Alex.
Oh, for him to
Yeah,
be
did
good.
it matter?
Uh,
Does
what
it matter?
Yeah, I think it does matter. I think with he had Mitch all of last year, and he played so much worse. He
Yeah.
just I wasn't being targeted. So even and now it's Foles. I don't know how his stats were affected from the first 2 weeks to the rest of the weeks, but
It definitely has been a bit better based on what we saw in the first 2 weeks. We saw 12 and
Yeah.
3, and then we saw with Foles 23, 19, 10, 11, 20, 15. So it's definitely been a little better, but there's a much higher sample size for Foles.
Right.
I think it was the right decision there for the Bears to go with Foles. Anybody disagree with that?
Nope.
I've been saying that since the start. But
Yeah, I think we all knew
yeah.
it was gonna happen eventually there. So who's other than Robbie Anderson, who's the biggest surprise on this list? Because I don't want to just give you guys the softball for that one. Who's the most surprising name to see here in these top 12, or by their position in the top 12?
I guess in hindsight, but DK Metcalf, because of how much of a beast he's been, he was what, the 16th guy you said?
17.
17. Yeah, it was 17th.
17, yeah.
17th wide receiver.
For reference,
He's now
we're
the third.
Right in
Yeah,
between,
he is
gotta
the
be
third.
one of the biggest jumps.
in between
It's-
Cooper Kupp and DJ Moore for reference.
Definitely doing better than those two.
Right. So look at where you picked that guy. So I guess now it doesn't sound like a surprise, but if we were in the past, we'd be like, oh, no way.
yeah.
I actually thought
It's
he might be in
wild.
trouble because week 1 he had a touchdown in his hands that he dropped, and I thought they were just gonna be like, all right, that's enough,
Yeah.
and make him play slot or something. But
Yeah, just looking at him, looking at the way he plays and the things he does on the field, it seems obvious now. When you look at him, you're like, that's a top receiver on the field. That's one of the best
Right.
players out there. But yeah, in hindsight, I guess it's very obvious. But at the draft, it wasn't.
I actually think Diggs surprises me more. Let
Yeah,
me try to find his. So he was wide receiver 24. For reference, that's right in between Hollywood Brown and T.Y. Hilton,
yeah.
both of who fucking suck this year.
Oh, let's play players.
Yeah. Anyways,
Right.
I
have one
we
more
had no idea what to
surprise, too.
expect. I think in our league he was going around AJ Green and stuff. Other
Yeah.
unknown.
Oh yeah,
players.
no, he went right next to AJ Green, I think, in our league.
Okay, yeah. So
Right.
other unknown players, and it just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're just grouping him in the same category of, I don't know, he might pop off, but he might do nothing. So yeah, he absolutely won the right side of that coin flip.
Yeah.
For the
Sure.
Diggs owners.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Obviously,
right.
Michael Thomas has not worked out the way that you wanted if you drafted
God,
him.
no, but that's
That's
it's
a
hardly
different
even
thing.
worth talking about because everyone knows.
Yeah, everybody
Right.
knows that at this point.
The players
OBJ
that have
as
gotten
well.
hurt.
We all know. Hey, you guys think OBJ is going to sneak into the top 10? No.
OBJ.
He's holding on better than I
Godwin,
thought he
Evans
would.
all have been, well, of course not OBJ, but they're all players
Yeah.
that have been hurt, which is most time. Galladay too. He's been hurt.
Yeah, he has.
So that's why he's probably not there.
Kenny
So
G.
most of the top 12 guys that aren't there is probably because they've been hurt.
Mhm.
or they
yeah,
are
a lot
hurt.
of injury this year to players. We touched on the Buccaneers receivers earlier. Do you think there's a chance that Godwin or Evans could sneak into this top 12?
Yeah, if they stay healthy.
What are they?
How far is Godwin down right now? Do we know?
I'll go find out.
I can check that. But let's see.
Oops, not Terry Godwin.
I'd say-
Chris Godwin
I'd
is
say-
62.
And where's Mike Evans?
No, there's no way.
And where's
Wide receiver 62? He might be 62nd overall.
Mike
No,
Evans?
position. Evans 19.
Okay, so Evans has a shot. Godwin's been hurt more.
Evans at least played every game.
Yeah, right. Godwin's been missed half.
I would
At
say
least, like,
yeah.
3 or
I'll
4?
I'll tell you how many. I feel like it's been more. He has missed 4.
Yeah.
4 goose eggs.
Wow, yeah, he is down there.
So
I guess 4 goose eggs will do that to you.
So he might not. He's probably not going to make it.
Again, those are like almost unfair numbers though, because he's
'Cause
getting
you're hurt,
punished. Yeah, because it's just
Yeah.
all positions.
But
Oh, yeah,
now
no,
there's
it's,
Brown
uh,
there too,
points.
though. So,
What's up?
but now there's Brown there too.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
still have trouble, but
Yeah, so he probably
So-
won't make it into that.
So Tom, here's a wild thing. We got
Yeah, hit me with
DK
it.
Metcalf at the 3rd, and then 2 spots down is
Tyler Lockett.
Is Tyler
Yep.
Lockett? That's wild. The same team, 2
Mhm.
guys in the top 5.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier on in the season. I remember
That's crazy.
I think we asked if we thought Russell Wilson was capable of sustaining this pace, and it looks like he is, because they were I think that was right after Tyler Lockett's 45-point week. He was probably like wide receiver 1, and I think DK was like 3 or 4.
We keep doing this stupid. All right, he's the MVP. He's the best, and then he comes out and sucks for 1 week.
Yeah, and he,
Yeah.
then he
And
throws
then
4
he-
picks into the Buffalo defense,
Yeah,
and we're
and
like,
then
"Get Josh Allen back in there. Russell, you're out. Allen, you're in."
Yeah, and then he just blue balls you again, and you never know if he's actually gonna do it.
He's still
Mhm.
playing great, but then he's throwing these really bad picks, like last week, into the end zone. That just that like,
Unlimited
terrible.
picks.
and it's just he's not afraid to throw the ball, which I guess is a good thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, not timely.
All right, so let me ask you guys this for you teams going into the season at this point, halfway through the season at this point. Who's been the MVP for your team?
From my team,
Yeah, who's the MVP for your team? I'll let you go first,
easy.
Alex. Yeah,
Kyler Murray,
Kyler Murray, no
Yeah.
doubt, no question.
him or Will Lutz.
So we're going with Kyler Murray then.
Will Lutz has been a kicker that puts up 10 points. Now we hear all this talk about, take out kickers from fantasy. We don't want kickers in fantasy. Dude, all you gotta do is pick a guy like Will Lutz. That's consistency. Come on. But
All right,
yeah,
so
it's been Kyler.
We're going Kyler. Jamie, what about you? Who's the MVP of your fantasy team?
I want to say Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Obviously, with my entire first 3 picks being running backs and my whole running back stuff being in turmoil,
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Gibson has he's just had good week. That was my 9th round pick for reference. He's had good weeks all over the place. You know, week 1 was bad, but he wasn't established number 1 at that point. But then he went 12, 13, 22, 10, 9, 18, 12.
He's definitely been a surprise. He's been a great breakout.
As far as for a random 9th round pick, well, not random. I liked the guy anyway from college, but as far as just a 9th round pick, kind of carrying my team, that's just.
Yeah.
I got Robbie Anderson light, is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, the MVP for my team has to be James Robinson. Like, there's no other person that can be that, because that's literally a top 5 running back off the waiver
I
wire.
think he's like your only player, right, Tom?
It feels like it sometimes. Like, he's trotting out there, he's getting 25, 30 points, and the rest of my team is coming up with maybe 20 between them. He's got the team on his back, and he's just yelling at them to do something, and they're just not doing it sometimes.
Although they have,
That's all going to change now, though.
Yeah, new
I'm
quarterback.
back in it.
The new quarterback.
Yeah.
He-
Oh, no, not for him. It's not going to change for him. I'm saying it's going to change for my team. The rest of them are going to start pulling their weight and make James Robinson proud.
Right. Jacksonville new quarterback looked all right though.
Yeah, Jake Luton came out through a nice pass to DJ Chark there. Jamie, do you still own Chark, or have you traded him away?
Still own him. He was
Do you
on
trust him now?
honestly kind of, because you take that one play out, which was a 73-yard touchdown bomb. Take that out, and he still has 7 catches for 70 or something, which is 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd say he's definitely. I have no reason not to trust him. He did very well the 1 week. That
I
waited.
couldn't believe how bad you beat me and how early it happened. I think it was 1:15 in the afternoon, and you had
Sorry, bud.
you had DJ Chark go 75 yards for a
He was
touchdown.
on my
Then on
bench.
like the
He was on my
next
bench.
play on the other team, you had Brandon Cooks wasn't on your bench.
That's true.
And on the next play in that game on the other side, he goes for a touchdown for like 60 plus yards. and Christian McCaffrey comes back for 1 week to put up 37 points. Your team just went wild on me in the first 15 minutes of the game last week, and it felt awful.
Yeah, that Justin Jackson you traded to me dropped me a nice 0. He hurt his
Yeah,
knee before he got to touch the ball.
I send my regards. Yeah, thank you, Justin. Job well done. Wasn't enough though, but maybe next time
Destroying
we'll get
the
him.
operation from the inside over here.
Yeah, it was a big strategy move. All right, I think that about wraps up everything we had for this week. You guys got any other hard-hitting fantasy advice that the people need to know?
Yeah. Corey Davis. Start him.
He just
They're
got
gonna say
0.
sit him.
He just got
he
0
just got
for
0.
0.
Okay, hear me out. Here's a wild thing.
It's gonna be okay.
Now, it's a little insensitive. His brother just died.
Oh no.
So if he comes out and plays, I don't know, it's not been proven, but like last week,
No.
Lamar, his grandmother died and stuff.
Josh Allen, you're thinking.
Or Josh Allen, right? So
Yeah.
don't bet against these players. I don't know why, they pop off right after.
That happens in That happened in basketball with.
Yeah, I remember the IT
Was
game
it-
in
yes,
like 2018 with the Celtics. Was that 2018 or was that 2017?
One of those. Doesn't really
Yeah.
matter a time frame, I guess, but
Yeah, I know the one you're
obviously
talking
there's
about.
motivations. Trade for Jamison Crowder on the low right now. I think if you look at a Crowder owner, they might want to trade him because of his disappointing week. He got the Gilmore treatment. He is still fine and will be a target hog.
Mm-hmm.
Just another
All right.
random piece of leaving
Yeah.
advice. Sorry.
Gilmore didn't play, but that's good.
Well,
Yeah, but you got the
Miami-
Gilmore treatment. You know what I mean? They sent
Okay.
they sent the double on him all day, and he wasn't
Sure.
able to do his thing.
Yeah,
My
that's
only
that's
advice
what Bill
is
does.
to just
Yeah.
just do better than I'm doing right now. Do better than me, and I think that's where we can leave it this week.
Fair enough. Thank you for watching, everybody. Sorry, this one's a bit shorter. We were on a slight time constraint. We appreciate everyone checking us out and watching up to this point. Thank you very much, and have a
Love you,
great
Kamal.
day. Yeah, love
Thank you, James
Kamal.
Robinson.
And James Robinson, we love you too.